The summer was supposed to be a sanctuary for my son, Nathan, a chance to breathe after the grind of high school and college applications. Our family's cabin on Silver Lake, a weathered retreat built by my grandfather in the 1940s, had always been our escape from the city's chaos, 2 hours away where the water shimmered like glass under the sun. Nathan, barely 18, had earned this freedom, and with my wife, Colonel Sarah Mitchell, heading to Nevada for 3 weeks of military training, we figured the cabin would be the perfect place for him to prepare for college in peace. We loaded his gaming rig, enough groceries to feed a battalion, and his fishing gear into the car, his excitement infectious as he hauled his monitor inside, grinning. "Dad, this is going to be the best summer ever," he said, already imagining nights of gaming and days on the lake. Sarah, watching him with pride, reminded him that freedom came with responsibility. After 20 years in the Army, she knew what independence demanded, and Nathan, mature beyond his years, seemed ready. But we hadn't counted on Margaret, the Homeowners Association president, who would turn our paradise into a battlefield and learn a lesson she'd never forget. Margaret appeared at our door that first day, clipboard in hand, her smile as sharp as a blade. In her early 50s, with flawless auburn hair and a suit more suited for a corporate office than a lakeside community, she introduced herself with a tone that felt more like an interrogation than a welcome. "I'm Margaret Sullivan, HOA president," she said, her eyes scanning our cabin like a predator sizing up prey. Her questions were pointed: how long would Nathan be alone? What was Sarah's job? Did we understand the community's strict rules? When she mentioned issues with unsupervised teens, Sarah's jaw tightened, sensing trouble. As Margaret droned on about regulations, her son, Tyler, a nervous 16-year-old, skulked past our driveway, eyeing our boat shed. Nathan thought he might be looking for a lost pet, but something about the boy's furtive movements felt off. Margaret ignored him, continuing her lecture, and I filed it away as odd. That evening, Margaret's first email hit the HOA mailing list, a 47-page manifesto of rules with a pointed reminder about noise after 9 p.m. and guest registration requirements. It read like a legal summons, not a neighborly note, and I wondered what kind of place we'd stumbled into. Sarah, packing for her early departure, pulled me aside, her voice low. "James, I don't trust her. Document everything, every email, every interaction. She's dangerous." I brushed it off as HOA politics, but her words lingered. The next morning, as Sarah's car vanished down the lake road, Margaret emerged from her house across the street, armed with a measuring tape and camera, photographing our cabin and noting distances from our windows to the property line. When Nathan checked the mailbox, her voice cut through the air. "Living alone at your age is a huge responsibility," she said, her smile more threat than warmth. "We have zero tolerance for disruptions." The words sent a chill through me. By afternoon, Margaret's campaign began with military precision. An email titled "Noise Violation" accused Nathan of blasting his TV at 9:15 p.m., claiming decibel levels violated the community's sacred quiet hours. Nathan had been watching a movie on his laptop with headphones, and the sound she described was impossible from our cabin. I sent a polite response with a photo of his setup and a decibel reading, but Margaret's reply accused me of defensiveness that proved her point about inadequate supervision. The next day, she fined us $50 for an unregistered guest when Nathan's girlfriend, Lily, visited for under 3 hours to help with college forms. I forwarded proof of her brief stay, but Margaret, copying half the neighborhood, called it disrespectful semantics. By day 3, she claimed Nathan's burger grilling created unauthorized smoke, threatening a fire department inspection. Her blurry photo showed normal grilling, but she focused on a pattern of violations. Day 4 brought a complaint about Nathan kayaking at 11 a.m., citing non-existent, restricted watercraft hours. Her emails grew more formal, as if building a legal case, and the CC list expanded to strangers. The real blow came when Margaret called my office anonymously, hinting at security concerns about my inappropriate activities. My boss mentioned it casually, but the implication that she was targeting my career ignited a fury I hadn't felt in years. By Friday, Nathan called me at work, sobbing. "Dad, she's always watching, taking pictures. She told Mrs. Larson I'm selling drugs. I can't leave the cabin." His fear, his belief that Sarah could have stopped this, broke me. That night, I sat in my car outside the cabin at 2 a.m., chain-smoking for the first time in a decade, leaving a voicemail for Sarah, who was unreachable in training. "I'm failing him," I whispered, the lake's gentle waves mocking my helplessness. Margaret was turning every innocent act into a weapon, and I didn't know how to fight her. The 4-hour drive to the cabin that Friday felt endless, Nathan's broken voice echoing in my head. I found him a shadow of the boy who'd arrived a week earlier, barely eating, jumping at every sound, checking windows for Margaret's camera. Holding him as he cried, I felt the weight of my failure to protect him in our own sanctuary. At 2 a.m., I sat on the porch, cigarettes burning through my resolve, wondering if I'd have to bring Nathan home and let Margaret win. But Saturday evening changed everything. Sarah's rental car rolled into the driveway 3 days early, Colorado plates glinting under the streetlight. From her window, Margaret saw the unknown vehicle and assumed a party, dialing 911 to report underage drinking and loud disturbances. 2 patrol cars arrived, lights flashing, as Margaret stood on the sidewalk, ready to narrate our crimes. I opened the door, hands trembling, expecting humiliation. Officer Reynolds asked about noise and drinking, but then Sarah stepped out in her full army dress uniform, colonel's insignia gleaming, medals catching the light. The officer snapped to attention, his tone shifting to respect. "Good evening, Colonel," he said. Margaret's voice faltered mid-accusation, her pointing finger dropping. Sarah's voice was ice-cold authority. "This is our private residence, officer. Is there a specific violation, or can we resolve this misunderstanding?" The second officer muttered about federal protections for military families, and Margaret's face paled. Reynolds warned her about false reports, and as the cars left, Sarah fixed Margaret with a stare that promised reckoning. "Your timing was perfect," I whispered, hugging her. "It wasn't luck," she replied, eyes on Margaret. "I've been tracking this all week and flew back to handle it." Sunday, Margaret pivoted to psychological warfare, posting on the community's social media about certain individuals using professional status to intimidate neighbors. Her supporters piled on, claiming rules should apply to everyone, while others, like elderly Mrs. Larson, defended us, calling it a personal vendetta. Sarah, reading the posts, recognized a sophisticated manipulation campaign. "This could hit the news, James," she said, her voice heavy. "One wrong move, and it's a military scandal." Instead of retreating, she launched an investigation, using her intelligence training to uncover Margaret's history. HOA records showed 47 complaints in 2 years, archived posts hinted at a family driven out, and county records revealed the Thompsons sold their home at a loss after harassment claims against Margaret's address. A call to Mrs. Thompson confirmed a chilling pattern: false accusations, property damage, workplace harassment, and using Tyler to spy and plant evidence. Margaret had even called Child Protective Services, leaving the Thompsons broken and forced to settle quietly. The turning point came Thursday when Tyler, trembling, told Nathan by the mailbox, "Mom wants me to plant marijuana in your shed and call the police." "I won't do it." He confessed to planting beer cans and cigarette butts, coerced by threats of military school or eviction. Nathan, showing compassion, told him, "You're not her weapon, Tyler." That night, Sarah's security camera caught Margaret screaming at Tyler through their open window, "Plant those drugs, or you're out," followed by the sickening sound of a slap. Saturday, we contacted Tyler's school counselor, who confirmed his declining mental health tied to Margaret's campaigns. Sunday's emergency HOA meeting became a showdown. Margaret presented doctored photos and emails, accusing us of undermining the community. But when she called Tyler to testify, he walked to the microphone, hands shaking, and said, "My mom made me lie about the Mitchells." He detailed her schemes, the drug plan, and her abuse, tears streaming as he apologized. Sarah played the audio of Margaret's slap, silencing the room. Mrs. Larson called it horrific, and the board demanded Margaret's resignation. 3 months later, Tyler thrived with his aunt, attending therapy and joining our family dinners. Margaret, in a mental health facility, sent a remorseful letter, admitting her obsession with control. The community reviewed her complaints, healing old wounds. That final summer evening, as we fished on the dock, Nathan said, "Courage isn't about not being scared, it's doing what's right." Silver Lake felt like home again, not just a place, but the people who fought for each other. Have you ever faced a bully who tried to tear your family apart? Share your story below. Sometimes knowing you're not alone is the best healing.